You know, when we talk about AI, our minds usually jump to things like writing code or creating images. But what happens when that same kind of intelligence gets its hands dirty? Metaphorically, of course, and starts designing something as complex and high stakes as an industrial chemical factory. Well, today we're diving right into that because we're going to explore how AI is stepping into the role of a senior process engineer for one of the most critical materials in modern construction, bitumen.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down the core engineering problem. Then we'll meet the AI that's been built to solve it. We'll see exactly how it turns a simple idea into a full-blown factory blueprint. And finally, we'll look at how it makes the whole process safer and, frankly, a lot smarter for everybody involved.
Before we get into the weeds, just take a second to think about that question. I mean, you're dealing with physics, chemistry, a mountain of safety regulations, logistics, and millions of dollars on the line. It is a massive, massive undertaking. So now, let's zoom in on one very specific, very important product.
Right? We are talking about bitumen. That's the black, sticky stuff that literally holds our roads together. But making it is not as simple as just heating up some oil. It is a delicate and honestly, a pretty dangerous balancing act. Okay, so all of these challenges are completely tangled together. If your heating curve is off by just a couple of degrees, you can totally ruin the viscosity. That's just how thick and gooey the liquid is. And boom, you've wasted an entire 20-ton batch. Or if you miscalculate your solvent ratios, you could violate super strict VOC emission rules. Those are nasty, volatile organic compounds. Or even worse, you could create a serious fire hazard under ATEX safety regulations, which are all about preventing explosions. It is a crazy, high-stakes puzzle where just one wrong move can have really costly or even catastrophic consequences.
So how in the world do you solve a puzzle that usually takes decades of human experience to master? Well, you build an expert from the ground up. The solution we're talking about is framed as an AI process engineer. It's like bottling the wisdom of a top-tier chemical engineer and making it available on demand on your screen.
And here's the key thing to understand. This Bitumen Factory AI Advisor is not just some souped-up calculator. It's a generative system. Think of it like an AI that has read every engineering textbook, every safety protocol, and every successful factory blueprint out there. You don't just ask it what if, you give it a goal, and it literally creates the how. It's designed to think like a real engineer, taking a big picture target and generating the whole detailed process from scratch.
Okay, let's get practical. How does a factory owner or an engineer actually use a tool like this? Well, the process is surprisingly straightforward. It takes a basic request and turns it into a comprehensive, actionable plan.
This is the core loop right here. An engineer just types in what they want to make, let's say 20 tons of rubber-modified bitumen every day. Then the AI does all the heavy lifting. It runs thousands of calculations for things like heating cycles and mixing shear rates, stuff that would normally take a human team days to figure out. And the result? A complete, step-by-step plan ready to go. And the plan it spits out isn't just a boring wall of text. No way! It's a visual, actionable timeline like this one. A manager can see right away that polymer mixing is the longest phase. That's your main bottleneck. This makes the AI's output tangible and immediately useful for real-world planning. So you've got a blueprint and a timeline, but a plan is only as good as its weakest link, which of course brings us to the biggest questions in any industrial project.
Is it a good plan? Is it safe? And is it actually efficient? This is where the AI really shines, moving beyond simple design and into intelligent optimization. It's about building safety and efficiency in from the very first click.
This is your classic before and after scenario. The old way, manual safety checks, a lot of expensive guesswork on what equipment you need. The AI just flips that script. It automates the safety checks against multiple regulations. And, this is huge, it performs a gap analysis. It'll tell you if your current equipment can handle the job, or if you actually need to buy that new colloid mill, which is a super specialized mixer. That feature alone could save you a fortune by preventing you from overspending on machinery you don't even need.
And the intelligence just goes deeper and deeper. This part is amazing. It's not just using generic one-size-fits-all EU rules. It can actually adapt to specific local regulations. It doesn't just design the production line, it even generates the quality control test list you'll need at the end, telling you to check for things like the correct penetration and softening point, which are just industry tests to make sure the final bitumen is the right hardness and won't melt on a hot road. It's really thinking about the entire life cycle of the product.
All right, let's move into our final section because the tool's job isn't done once the design is finished. It's also built to be a learning platform, a real knowledge hub for the entire team.
This is just fantastic. It has a tutorial module that uses real-world scenarios, so a junior engineer or even a student can use it to simulate not just production, but incredibly complex supply chain problems. Like, how do you manage a bitumen supply chain all the way from Turkmenistan to Romania? This tool lets you learn by actually doing it, all in a completely safe, simulated environment.
So you've got your plan, but what about all the follow-up questions? The system has a context-aware AI chat assistant built right in. You can ask your generated report direct questions, just like the one you see on the screen. And it won't give you some generic answer from the internet. It will analyze the specific design it just created for you and give you tailored, actionable advice.
So when you step back, who is this really for? Well, as you can see, the applications are incredibly broad. For production managers on the factory floor, it helps them hit their daily targets. For process engineers in the office, it helps them design and prototype way faster. For factory owners in the boardroom, it helps them make smarter investment decisions. And for students in the classroom, it helps them prepare for the real world.
At the end of the day, it really all boils down to this. It's not just another piece of software. It's being positioned as a core member of your engineering team. It's your digital process engineer.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As AI continues to take over all the complex calculations and the initial design work in fields like this, what does that mean for human engineers? What skills? Creativity, big picture problem framing, ethical oversight. What's going to become even more valuable? Definitely something to think about. That's all for this explainer.